The worst mistakes in an emergency never look like mistakes. They look like the obvious thing to do, right until the moment they turn against you. Most people imagine emergencies the wrong way because movies teach us that chaos is loud, dramatic, and full of heroic moments, and survival videos often show a version of danger that looks like a challenge rather than what it really is. A moment where your mind tries to make sense of something it was not prepared for. Real emergencies do not feel like a test of strength. They feel like confusion, hesitation, and instincts that sometimes push you in the exact opposite direction of what actually helps. And that is why psychology matters far more than gear. Because the first minutes of any crisis are not about tools, they are about clarity. And clarity is what most people lose first. In this video, we are going to break down the 10 mental rules that quietly decide how you react when something goes wrong in the real world, not dramatic tricks, but the habits that keep you steady while everyone else follows their instincts into trouble. And if you want more content that explains real preparedness with calm and no panic, consider subscribing before we move on. When the mind is under stress, it does something simple but dangerous. It narrows. Your vision tightens. Your attention locks onto one detail, and the rest of the situation fades out like a dim background. Instincts take over because the brain wants speed, not accuracy. And what feels like the obvious move is often the one that creates more problems. The real mistake people make is trusting those impulses as if they were wisdom, believing that intuition is the same as clarity, when in emergencies, it rarely is. Think about a moment everyone has lived at least once. The power goes out, the room drops into silence, and your first reaction is to move quickly toward whatever feels familiar, a drawer, a switch, a door, without actually thinking through what changed. That split-second choice is small, harmless in everyday life, but in real emergencies, that same reflex can turn a manageable situation into something heavier. And this is why these rules are so important. They are silent. They do not announce themselves, but they decide everything about how you respond when something breaks your routine. When you understand how the mind behaves under pressure, you start to notice something surprising. Survival is not shaped by gear or strength. It is shaped by a handful of quiet mental rules that decide what you notice, what you ignore, and how you act in the moments when your instincts try to take over. These rules show up in fires, storms, power outages, medical scares, and even in small everyday disruptions. And once you learn them, you begin to see why some people stay steady while others get overwhelmed. So let us go through the 10 silent rules that guide real survival, the ones nobody talks about but everyone experiences when stress rises. And this is where survival really begins, not with gear, but with how your mind chooses its next move. The first silent rule is the rule of the first minute, the idea that your very first decision in an emergency is usually the one you should not trust because it is made by adrenaline, not by awareness. It feels wrong to question that first impulse because your body is screaming for you to do something, move, react, fix, and it feels like speed equals safety. In reality, that first surge is often a blind reaction. It narrows your focus and pushes you toward whatever looks obvious, even if it is the worst possible option. Imagine hearing a loud crash in your home at night and instantly rushing toward the sound without pausing for even one breath to understand what actually fell, where it came from, or whether there is any real danger. What saves you here is knowing that the first minute belongs to your emotions. So you give yourself a tiny pause, a single controlled breath, a quick scan, and only then decide, so your actions come from clarity, not from shock. The second silent rule is the rule of noise. When something goes wrong, the mind desperately chases information. It grabs at every sound, every notification, every opinion, and confuses movement for understanding. It feels natural to check your phone, turn on the news, ask 3 people what they think, because more input seems like more control. But in reality, all that noise overloads you and makes it harder to see what actually matters in that moment. Picture a citywide outage where texts, social media, and rumors start flying, and you find yourself scrolling and switching channels instead of doing the 1 or 2 simple things that would make you safer. The key here is learning to turn down the volume, to pick one or two reliable sources and then act. Because in a crisis, more noise does not equal more safety. More noise equals more confusion. The third silent rule is the rule of freeze. The moment when your body simply stops, your muscles tighten, your thoughts feel stuck, and you wonder what is wrong with you. Many people think freezing is a personal weakness or cowardice, something to be ashamed of, when in reality it is a natural response built into the nervous system, a way the brain buys a split second of time when it cannot decide between fight or flight. Imagine seeing a car accident unfold in front of you and feeling your feet glued to the ground for a brief moment while everything inside you tries to catch up. The thing that saves you is not pretending that freeze will never happen, but recognizing it when it shows up, telling yourself that this pause is a known response, letting it last a moment, and then shifting gently into the smallest possible action, even a single step or a single decision, so the freeze becomes a bridge, not a trap. The fourth silent rule is the rule of environment before action, which means you must see where you really are before you decide what to do. Most people flip this order. They act first, run, shout, grab, push, and only later realize they never actually looked at their surroundings. It feels efficient to jump straight into motion, especially when fear is rising. But that movement is often blind and can move you deeper into danger instead of out of it. Imagine stepping outside during a severe storm to check your car, only to realize too late that the wind is stronger than you thought, and debris is already flying. What protects you is a habit of taking a beat to check the environment, the floor, the exits, the people around you, the source of the problem, so your first real movement is based on reality, not assumption. The fifth silent rule is the rule of energy conserved, because stress drains both physical and mental energy faster than most people think. Under pressure, the body burns through reserves, your attention jumps around, your muscles stay tense, and you can exhaust yourself quickly without doing anything useful. It feels right to stay switched on the entire time, to monitor everything, to never sit, never drink, never pause. But that constant strain makes you less effective exactly when you need your best judgment. Imagine spending hours during a disruption walking from room to room, checking the same things over and over, instead of sitting down, drinking some water, and choosing the three most important tasks. The survival advantage comes from protecting your energy the way you would protect a battery, moving with purpose, resting on purpose, and understanding that endurance comes not from constant effort, but from effort that is paced. The sixth silent rule is the rule of micro decisions, the idea that three small, clear choices are far more powerful than one big, heroic plan. In movies, people love the grand gesture, the dramatic escape, the all-in move. But real situations are usually navigated by a series of tiny, correct steps that do not look impressive at all. It feels satisfying to imagine that you will make one huge, perfect decision in a crisis. But life almost never gives you that moment. Picture being stuck in a stalled train in bad weather. You cannot fix the train, you cannot control the storm, but you can decide to conserve your phone battery, to stay near people rather than isolate yourself, and to keep yourself warm and hydrated while you wait. Those are micro decisions, and together they are worth more than any fantasy of forcing the situation to change. The seventh silent rule is the rule of fewer variables, because complexity is the enemy of judgment when you are under stress. The instinct in an emergency is often to add more tools, add more tasks, add more options, thinking that having more choices means more control. In reality, every extra variable is another thing your brain has to track, another potential source of doubt, another path that can go wrong. Imagine packing a bag in a hurry and overloading it with gear you will never use, only to find that the weight slows you down and the clutter makes it harder to find the one thing you actually need. The advantage comes from simplifying on purpose, choosing fewer, more reliable actions and items so your mind can breathe and commit. The eighth silent rule is the rule of structural calm, the idea that calm is not something you magically feel in the moment. It is something you build in advance. People often think that some are naturally calm and others are not, as if it were a personality trait. But in practice, calm comes from having thought through simple steps before you ever need them. It feels like calm appears from nowhere, but most of the time it is built quietly through habits, like knowing where certain items are, having a loose plan for common problems, or having rehearsed in your mind what you would do in a few basic scenarios. Picture someone who has already decided which room becomes the quiet space when there is a problem, where the flashlight lives, how to reach family if networks are slow, and compare that to someone who has never considered any of it until the lights go out. The first person is not braver, they are structurally calmer because they did some of the thinking before the pressure arrived. The ninth silent rule is the rule of anchoring, the practice of using one stable point to keep your mind functional when everything else feels unstable. In a stressful situation, your attention wants to scatter. It jumps from sound to sound, from thought to thought, and that scattering creates even more anxiety. It might feel strange to focus on something simple in those moments, a single task, a familiar object, a repeated phrase, but that anchor gives your mind something to hold on to while the rest of the situation moves around you. Imagine being in a crowded, tense space during a disruption and choosing one simple anchor, slowly counting your breaths, checking on one person near you, or focusing on one small action you can complete. That anchor does not change the external event, but it keeps your brain online, which is the most important resource you have. The 10th silent rule is the rule of returning to rhythm, because the mind and body both work best when they can find a steady pattern again after a shock. A crisis breaks your rhythm. Time feels strange. Your sense of sequence gets scrambled, and that disorientation can make small problems feel much bigger. Instinct might push you to either freeze completely or to bounce chaotically from one action to another, but what truly helps is rebuilding a simple rhythm as soon as possible. Picture a family during a long outage who decides to follow a basic pattern, check in on each other, handle one task, rest, repeat, instead of letting everyone spin off in different directions. That gentle return to rhythm, to a predictable cycle of small actions, keeps panic from taking over and helps everyone move through the situation with far less emotional damage. All of these rules are quiet. They do not look dramatic, but together they shape the way a real person moves through real stress. And once you start to notice them, it becomes hard to imagine facing any kind of disruption without them. When you look at these 10 rules together, a simple truth appears. Every emergency begins in the mind before it ever shows up in the world. What you do in the first 2 minutes shapes everything that happens in the next 20, because your thoughts create the frame you operate in. They decide whether you move with clarity or with instinct, whether you simplify the moment or complicate it without realizing it. Real survival has always been more mind than muscle, because people do not fall apart for lack of tools. They fall apart when the mental structure collapses and leaves them reacting without direction. You can see this even in small, everyday moments. The panicked rush during a kitchen mishap, the confused hesitation when a loud noise comes from another room, the way a simple problem feels heavier when your mind has not found its footing yet. And once you notice this pattern, it becomes obvious that skill in emergencies is not built in chaos. It is built in the quiet moments before chaos arrives. Which brings us to how these rules look in real life. Imagine a quiet evening when a sudden storm rolls in faster than anyone expected, and the power drops without warning, leaving the entire house in darkness. Daniel, who has been through outages before but never anything this sudden, reacts the way most people would. He grabs the first flashlight he remembers owning, even if he is not sure the batteries still work, and moves quickly from room to room, trying to figure out what happened. In those first moments, he breaks several silent rules without realizing it. He makes his first decision too fast, lets noise take over as he checks his phone again and again for updates, and acts before he understands the environment, stepping near a window just as the wind throws debris against the glass. Daniel has no idea that every step he takes is the exact opposite of the silent rules, and that is what quietly pushes the situation in the wrong direction. None of it comes from recklessness. It comes from instinct, from the mind trying to regain control by doing something, anything, even if those actions drain energy and add confusion. If he had applied even one silent rule, the moment would have shifted. A single pause before moving, a breath to calm the rush of information, a quick scan of his surroundings before taking another step. That tiny shift would have given him a structure to stand on, a sense of clarity instead of motion, and the entire situation would have unfolded with less stress and fewer risks. It is a reminder that most people do not fail because they panic. They fail because their instincts take the lead before their awareness has time to catch up. The most surprising part of these silent rules is that you do not need extreme gear or wilderness training to make them automatic. You only need a few everyday habits that keep your mind steady before anything goes wrong. Two simple objects already change everything. A small power bank that stays charged in the same drawer so your communication never depends on luck, and a reliable flashlight with fresh batteries that gives you instant clarity the moment the lights go out. Then come 3 habits that quietly support 7 of the 10 rules without you thinking about them. Keeping essential items always in the same place so your mind does not scramble under stress. Pausing for one breath before reacting to anything unexpected. And doing a quick environmental scan before taking any action, even in small disruptions at home. And there is one way of observing that makes the biggest difference, noticing the first signs of stress in your own body, the faster breathing, the scattered thoughts, the urge to move without direction. Because recognizing those signals early lets you shift back into structure instead of instinct. None of this is dramatic. None of it belongs to wilderness stories. It is everyday preparedness built for real life, the kind that makes most emergencies smaller and keeps your mind in the place where good decisions actually happen. When you step back from all of this, a simple idea becomes impossible to ignore. The mind is what creates the problem in the first seconds of an emergency, and the mind is also what solves it once you understand how it behaves under pressure. These silent rules are not survival tricks or wilderness tactics. They are the foundation of clarity, the difference between reacting blindly and moving with purpose in situations that feel unfamiliar or overwhelming. And once you learn them, you start to see how much of survival is not about the world outside you, but about the structure you build inside your own head. Before you go, I want to ask you something personal. What is the one rule that made you reconsider a habit or instinct you take for granted in daily life? Your answer might help someone else notice something about themselves that they never questioned. And if you want more content that explains preparedness in a calm, realistic way with no panic and no noise, consider subscribing so we can keep exploring these ideas together.